today we're going to be discussing one of the most important topics as a fitness professional launching a business, or even as an entrepreneur in general. And that discussion is business funding. Now, the reason why business funding is so important is because it gives you an opportunity to leverage other people's capital in order to launch your own business, which gives you an opportunity to scale as rapidly as possible. Now, one of the largest mistakes that I made launching my business initially, my first business, was to use my own liquid capital in order to launch that business. While I don't regret it, because what it did was give me a higher risk tolerance, and it also gave me a different type of confidence as a business owner, knowing that I can put everything on the line and still be successful. If I can go back in time, I would have done it more creatively, using and leveraging other people's capital with business funding. Now, while business funding is getting capital to fund your business and elevate your business, one thing that we have to be clear about is that banks and anyone lending money is going to look at your credit score first. So with that, we need to make sure that everything's aligned with our personal credit before we go and get business funding. And that's what we'll start with. Your personal credit is the foundation for your ability to get business funding. So the first thing you want to look at is you want to look to attain a score across all three bureaus, and those bureaus are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, a score of 720 and higher. Now, if you're wondering where you can see your score, and if you're wondering where you can get the most accurate information, you should download the Experian app, which is going to give you those three scores. And if you want to see the most detailed credit report, you should go to annualcreditreport.com. And they'll give you a full weekly rundown of exactly line by line what's going on with your credit report. Now, once you see exactly what's going on with each one of the bureaus and your credit report, you can see where you need to attack first. And once you do that, you can leverage AI to tell you where to start. Me personally, I use ChatGPT on a daily basis. So if you haven't downloaded that app already, make sure you download ChatGPT by the end of this video. And the prompt you should begin with is, how can I get my scores across all three bureaus to 720 or higher? And with that prompt, you should attach your annual credit report as well as screenshots from Experian of where your reporting is or where your score is with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Now, while ChatGPT will give you a full game plan that's specific to your needs, what I can tell you is that in many cases, most people just have too much of a high amount of revolving credit. That's one of the biggest things that can hurt your score. So you want to make sure that you make a plan to take your balances down to 1% or below. Once you do that, you'll notice rapid bumps in your personal credit score, which will take you closer to that goal of getting business funding. Another item I'm thinking about when I think about the mentees that we work with, and even family and friends, that drags people's credit score down are hard inquiries. Now, the great thing about that is if the inquiry isn't associated with an open account, meaning if it's a business account or you got denied for the loan or credit card or financing option that you were applying for, you have the ability to remove those hard inquiries from your credit report. Now, with those hard inquiries, what I typically notice is that once they're removed, our client scores typically bump up about 3 to 5 points per hard inquiry. Now, when we talk about another score drag, the third thing that I notice is when people have too many addresses associated with them and their profile. So you want to do an audit of your address history. And if any address is one that you're not currently residing in, you should remove it. We notice scores bump anywhere from 10 to 15 points just off removing those additional irrelevant addresses. Now, those are just a few key ways to improve your personal credit, which will allow you to get access to business funding. In the description, we have a full business funding checklist that goes into further detail about the things that you should be doing. And now, ideally, your business score has elevated past a 720 in all 3 credit bureaus. That's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Now we can move on to your business structure and how we can help you structure your business in order to look as appealing to the powers that be that make lending decisions. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to register your business officially with the Secretary of State. Go online, and you can do that through a lot of different channels. You can do it directly with the government. You can also use Zen Business, and there are a lot of other vendors that assist with getting you registered initially with the Secretary of State for your business. From there, you need to create an official LLC. So you need to create a corporation or limited liability corporation, and you need to get an EIN number, which is an employer identification number for your business. Next up, while social media is amazing, we're using it right now, you need to make sure that you have an official website as a business owner. Now, you can go high level with it and use a phenomenal tech website developer, or you can use and leverage, again, AI and different vendors to help you make your site that's going to be more cost effective. Another option as well for support on building your website is going to Fiverr or Upwork to hire a freelancer to help you build a website in a fashion that's also cost effective. Currently, with artificial intelligence, there's even an option using a support system like Lovable to help you build a website yourself using AI prompts. Now that you have the team for building your website, ideally you can get started and hit the ground running. You want to make sure that you secure your domain, which is your website URL for whatever brand you have, by going to GoDaddy.com and purchasing your website URL. I'd recommend going with the 5 to 10 year plan to make sure that you're secured for the long run. Following securing that URL on GoDaddy, I would go to Google Workspace to make sure that you have an official email. Now, as a fitness professional or any type of entrepreneur or professional in general that owns a business, you want to make sure that your business name, URL, and company email align with your brand. You don't want to use a regular Gmail. You want to make sure that it's always going to be your name at yourbusiness.com. Now, in order to set that professional email up with Google, you can't just go to Google or gmail.com to set it up. You need to make sure that you go to workspace.google.com in order to set up that professional business email. And then from there, you can start to set up a business phone number through RingCentral. That'll give you a professional business phone number, so you don't have to worry about people calling your personal line if you don't want to. You want to make sure that you create a business page on Google. That's going to be important for when you're looking to run ads and when you're looking to make sure that you get your consumer reviews, which is going to help you gain new clientele and also showcase your talent. Now, last couple things that you're going to do to increase the credibility of your business is open an official business checking account to make sure that you have revenue coming into your business checking and your legitimate business. That said, the great thing about that is you could also leverage that business checking account to do what I call fractional banking, which will improve your odds for getting higher limit business funding through credit cards with the institution that you choose to begin that relationship with. For me, I would highly recommend that you begin that business checking relationship with Chase. I found that Chase offers pretty high limits, even for new businesses, with 0% APR funding, which means you won't have to pay back interest on anything you spend for your business within a 12-month or greater timeline. And lastly, you're going to create a Dun Bradstreet number for your business. And that number is crucial because it registers your business and it also assesses your credit worthiness. And you can create that number or get that number on dnb.com. And now that we're all registered and official, we're fully ready to go into banks to ensure that we're getting the best options for business funding capital to begin and scale our business. Now, this is just part one of the business funding information that will be provided. Be sure to tune into part two, where we'll dive deep into grants.